Enrique and Gudino this week have had Gudino's pick for this week. I hope that made sense. And if it didn't, act like it did. We have 2003's Turn Left, Turn Right. It's a Hong Kong-Singapore co-production directed by two Hong Kong-based directors, adapted from a Taiwanese illustrated book by Jimmy Liao called A Chance of Sunshine. Featuring Hong Kong actress Gigi Long and Taiwanese-Japanese actor, I hope I don't butcher this, Takashi Kaneshiro.
Yeah.
It was filmed in Taipei, the first Chinese-language Asian film to be produced and distributed by Warner Brothers. Despite being filmed in Taiwan, most actors spoke Cantonese. While filming, however, most of the publicity, including the featurette on the Japanese DVD, are filmed in Mandarin. This movie was a pretty big hit in Asia when it first came out. The film's multi-regional production is so inherent to its identity. This is a film about connections. The film explores the concept of Yu and Fin. A concept similar to luck, Chinese people often believe it is Yu and Fin that brings people together. If Yu and Fin hasn't arrived, you can be sleeping next to each other like they were apartments apart without realizing it. However, when Yu and Fin arrives, no matter how far apart, it'll bring you together. Like fate, it has a sense of humor. Sometimes it can be, downright cruel. Yu and Fin, like luck, can be used up. Once it is up, no matter how hard you try, destiny does not yield. This is a comedic, poetic, lovely little film for you.
Welcome to another episode of Enriquez and Gudino. I, Carlos Enriquez, and with me is my co-host, my partner in crime, not just the co-pilot. If I had the fish on tonight's flight, he's the guy taking over to fly the plane. That's how we handle this podcast. He's not my sidekick. He's not in the background going like, "Ha ha ha! You are correct, sir." No, if I get sick from the airline food, I gotta have my co-pilot to take over. All right, Jonathan.
Yes.
Go ahead.
What did you think of this film, Mr. Enriquez?
Oh, we're not going to say what we did this week or watch this week?
Oh, okay.
Come on, let the people get to know us a little better.
When I called you...
Yeah.
Oh, no. When I called you back, right?
Yeah.
I had a couple calls from you. We had a very rambunctious morning, you and me.
Oh, yes. We were... here's a little plug for our... Do we call it a sister podcast?
We should call it... Well, fuck. I don't know, man. It's part of the.
It's what led to the creation of this one. So it's so for I don't know, maybe you guys have already plugged our podcast on that one, but I guess we'll do a light plug here. But we both did a call-in bit on our
station
on our sister station, or our sister podcast, Nito and Friends, and we suffice to say, yes, we did have a rambunctious morning. Jonathan here had pretty much unloaded all of his grievances on main host, the titular Nito, and then he dipped out as soon as a fourth guest came in, because I guess he views it as an unlucky number, and then I dipped out because frankly I didn't want to hear about conspiracy theories.
And you had also a very big week before that. A day before, you tell them what you did.
I left the job that I had. Where we first met.
I used that line from the Titanic, hoping you'd get it. This is
yes.
Where we first met.
Yes.
Because
I get to watch it like once a month.
As you should. It should be illegal to not watch it once a month. It should be bare minimum.
My wife, I could hear my wife laughing in the other room because you brought that up now. Anyways, so yeah, I left my job because I was getting a job somewhere else, and also they were frankly, to be fair, I was on the chopping block along with a lot of our other coworkers. So we did that. I also watched Guardians of the Galaxy 3 again because my brother was in town and he wanted to see it. He hadn't seen it yet.
Okay.
Watching it a second time, the movie still works. It still touches me.
You made me cry, man.
Dude, like my brothers wiped their tears from their eyes at the same time. It's fucking good. All right.
He had 3 friends, man. That poor little raccoon.
Yeah, and again, as I said before, it's like, man, I forget that's Bradley Cooper.
Yeah, dude. If you didn't see the video of him doing the whole Whatever. I wouldn't believe it.
Yeah, I just like, yeah, that's the real Rocket Raccoon. They got the actor. They got the real man. This is a documentary. But yeah, I watched it again. It's pretty good. Obviously, I watched this week's movie. I showed my wife, and maybe this will go on our list later, but I showed my wife a movie I'd seen before because we watched a show called Beyond Belief, Fact or Fiction, starring Jonathan Frakes from Star Trek, Next Generation. And it's a show where it's an anthology show where it's just like they present you a bunch of stories, and at the end they pretty much say like, "Did you believe the story was true? You're wrong. We made it up." Or it's like, "You're right. This story was true. Oh, okay. It's based on a true story." Oh. And it's like that. And I told my wife, like, there's a movie on the same streaming platform that is essentially the precursor to this called Encounters with the Unknown, or Encounter with the Unknown. It's narrated by Rod Serling, who created The Twilight Zone. And it's an anthology movie made of 3 different like short stories, each one dealing with maybe psychic phenomena.
Okay.
It's very poorly made. It's 70 as hell.
Yeah.
And it uses music that you swear to God you recognize because it's been recycled for SpongeBob. There's music that I will play it for you. Here's a quick clip right here. All right. And it's just like you listen to, it's like, oh my God, this is library music that they've like recycled for like kids shows in the 90s.
You've ever played The Sims?
Yeah.
You've ever seen the jazz singer 1920 whatever?
Yeah.
That song? When they fell in love or whatever?
Yeah.
Threw me out.
Yeah.
Knocked my heels up, dude.
Yeah.
I fell backwards, dude. I couldn't believe it. From 1927.
Yeah.
Sims.
Yeah, so it's funny how
stuff like that.
Yeah, and it's just like I said, it's a low budget feature. It's you watch it and you think like, oh my fucking God, this is legit. Like, because also the movie pads out its runtime by after all 3 of the stories go. It's just like at the end there's like another narrator who's not Rod Serling, the Twilight Zone guy, give you a little like break. Then just like, in this story here, this woman cursed these 3 young men that accidentally caused the death of her son. Could you believe that this happened? What could have led to this? Okay. What does the number 7 mean exactly?
Jesus Christ!
And it's like that, just like, okay. Or this story, where this small town in the south, they hear a mysterious sound coming from a hole in the woods. This man goes in to check it, and he comes out crazy. What could he have seen down there? Could he have perhaps encountered an ancient civilization?
What the hell?
It's stuff like that. It's just like, this is shit that you like hear on like Unsolved Mysteries or like Ancient Aliens, but this is like the origin of that almost.
Did you enjoy it?
Oh, it's enjoyable as hell. My wife said that the kid who and this is not spoilers because it's how the first story opens up. The kid whose mom Final Destinations and curses like his like stupid pool buddies. She said like, why does he look like the guy from Mad Magazine? And it said like, oh my God, Alfred E. Newman. I looked at a picture. I paused the TV. I'm like, oh no, that's unfortunate. That poor young man, real poor young actor looks exactly like the dude from Mad Magazine.
But didn't Mad come before?
Yes, it did. It's been around since like the 50s.
Okay.
But again, this kid is like,
he looks just like that dude.
He's a 20-year-old, and just like. And he dies in the most embarrassing accidental way possible. But yeah, we watched that.
What was it called again?
Encounters with the Unknown.
Encounters with the Unknown. Rod Serling. When did he pass away?
I think the 70s. No, 80s. I think 80s because he had that 70s show, 6 season 70s show, Night Gallery, which gave Steven Spielberg his first job. This dude, Steven Spielberg.
Yes, Spielberg.
He was so friggin' like movie crazy. He's like, I'm gonna get a job at working in movies. I'm gonna work at Universal Studios. Okay. This dude showed up to the movie lot, waited in front at the door, and just like, what are you doing here, young man? It's like, I'd like to get a job on set. You got any experience? Yeah. Did not have experience. He kind of conned his way into a job, and now look at him.
Yeah.
Back in the day, back in the 70s, you could just show up to like movie lots and be like, "What experience do you have?" I was a race car driver. All right. We need a guy who needed something for race car driving scenes. Can I direct the scene too later? Yeah. Can I just direct? Yeah. Freaking Howard.
No one respected him when he first was on set. He just didn't.
Oh, I know. Yeah. But I mean, now look at him. He's fucking.
He's doing pretty good for himself. I didn't watch The Fabelmans.
I wanted to because that I know that would be
I
like.
it was good.
I saw the trailer. Just like Steven Spielberg's after my heart. He's making a movie about a kid who wants to make movies. Just like that's me. He's like me for real. All right, what did you watch this week?
We watched,
aside from our movie of the week,
The Prince of Egypt, but we didn't finish it. But we did watch El Dorado.
You're on a 90s DreamWorks kick?
Yeah, my mom was like, I want to watch the one with the King of Dreams. We couldn't find it.
Joseph.
Yeah. So we looked at those two.
Is it weird that DreamWorks made two pretty good like Bible adaptations for like families to go and enjoy? Because I remember watching The Prince of Egypt and thinking like this movie is incredible. Mm-hmm. I wish they would show this at my like I would love to if they would show this when I was going to like when I was going to catechism. You know?
Is that like what sermon?
Catechism is like catechism school is when you're like getting ready for your confirmation and first communion.
Yeah, that stuff I didn't do it.
Yeah, I know. I figured you seem like a godless heathen. No, look. To be fair, I hated it, and look, and you know what? All that business for what? I don't even go to church anymore.
I went to a school, but it was just like Bible school or whatever at a Catholic church, but I didn't get nothing out of it.
Okay, fair. So there you go. See.
But I've been baptized. That's good enough.
Yeah, that's good enough. You're under God's care, I guess.
Yeah, they say if a child dies before it's baptized, it can't be buried in a
Christian or
in a cemetery.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
That's all right. We just bury him in the backyard like a dog,
as God intended.
Yeah. God made the earth. Every place is holy.
Well,
They're God's creation.
If you dig far enough,
look,
there's a hole right there.
You fucker.
That's holy.
Yeah, you're right. So you watched Prince of Egypt and you watched El Dorado. Yeah. How do those movies hold up for you?
Okay, dude. There was some parts where I was just like, ugh. What's that shit when one thing doesn't like line up with another scene or whatever? The continuity.
Plot continuities, like plot holes or there was, continuity problems.
There was a part where he like you've seen this movie, right?
I've seen both of them.
The Jaguar.
Yeah.
He like jumps on him and he falls into the Shivalba, the spirit world and everything. When he's climbing up. The rope is like not connected to the environment because it
that was an animation.
So
that's
good.
Probably an animation error.
But then it's like when they climb up over it, it's like they have different vines that weren't there when they were climbing.
I remember that as a kid, and it bothered me. Yeah,
like, but I didn't notice it as a kid. But...
How does that soundtrack hold up though? I when I was a kid, like DreamWorks, like the music, like the scores that DreamWorks had in their movies. They fucking slapped. Even a movie like Ants, when they play their like heroic adventure theme, just like that's like the hype music. Just like who you.
Dude, there was some parts where I was just like, oh, I remember that line.
Yeah.
Oh, and then I'd sing it, and my mom was right there. Yeah. It was cool. Me and my brother would love watching that movie over and over again.
Yeah.
So like, but chill, dude.
Okay.
Yeah.
One of the animators who worked in it, James Baxter, who's like a legend in the animation industry now.
Okay.
He has his own YouTube channel. He uploaded a deleted scene that he animated of Chell sitting down, getting comfy. I'm like,
ooh, what kind of comfy?
He like just sits down and she just goes like, ooh, I'm just getting comfy. I'm just like, it's too hot for kids.
That woman is,
and she's voiced by Rosie Perez.
She is so pretty. Rosie's so pretty.
Yeah, dude, we really have to watch Do the Right Thing because that's like I think one of her first movies.
Was that with her and Spike Lee?
Yeah. Oh and she does that fucking great dance at the beginning. Yeah, that fucking... And it's like the most energetic...
It's so 90s!
But it's like the most energetic like opening. It's like, did that movie... If that doesn't get you hyped like for this movie, I don't know what does.
It was actually a comedic drama, and you didn't really get that part. No, I don't know. I've never seen it.
It is a comedic drama in ways.
What is a comedic drama, dude? You can't. Those are two things that can't mix.
No,
together,
you can. No. You can have it.
Give me one.
I don't know, a little movie called Do the Right Thing.
Shut the hell. No, I have never seen it, so you could be right or you could be wrong.
Well, I guess a lot of does the word dramedy not mean anything to you?
Dramedy?
Dramedy? Like dramatic comedy?
How could you pierce my virgin ears with such words, dude?
Most Wes Anderson movies are dramedies. They're like, I mean, the
Royal Tenenbaums?
Yeah, that's a dramedy. There's drama in it. Characters grow and like deal with like past, deal with their past traumas, and there's moments of seriousness, but it can still have moments to be light.
But it's not like the Joker tone. Like that seems like a serious.
Well, the thing is, like, okay, a dramatic comedy is essentially a drama with either a drama with comedic elements, but still sticks to the idea that these are characters and these are human beings that are dealing with problems that are affecting them in ways that cannot be solved with like a fucking house party at the end. Or it's a comedy where like the character, it's still meant to be funny. These characters are funny, but they're still human beings. Either way, it's essentially a drama that has comedic elements. It stops for a minute to be funny, but at the end of the day, like these characters are like still people and they're dealing with a problem.
Have you seen I Am Sam?
That's not a dramedy.
That's a drama.
No, it's meant
when
to.
I think of drama, that's what I think.
That is a drama, yeah.
Yeah,
but
I can't picture a comedy and a drama together. Like when you watch the Royal Tenenbaums or
that's a dramedy.
Grand Budapest Hotel and stuff. It's like
okay, that's a straight
colorful, dude.
Yeah.
It
okay, you know what? Another one. Okay, you know what?
Brooding thing.
Fucking and this is one of Wes Anderson's collaborators, Noah Baumbach. His movies are dramedies. Movies like Frances Ha, Greenberg, The Squid and the Whale, Kicking and Screaming. It's like movies that are like dramas but have like dry comedic elements. So essentially comedies and dramas for smart people.
Coen Brothers. Burn After Reading.
Those are black.
That is a dramedy.
That's a dramedy, but it's a black. Okay, that's a black comedy. It's using like
but
dark.
No Country for Old Men.
No, that's
a drama.
No, that's cold.
That's a drama.
Yeah.
Right there. See, you know what I'm saying? Like they have.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have to introduce you to movies that I think. Well, you know what? I'm just gonna show you a couple of Noah Baumbach movies, and then you'll get it.
All right.
Anything else that you watched this week that came to mind before we move on to talking about this week's movie?
I was really upset because last week I didn't say that I watched The Little Mermaid. I watched it.
Okay, I remember you told me about it.
It still broke me, man.
No. You hold on. Rewind.
Dude.
You said you watched it twice.
I watched it once in the movie theater, but I was so up close that when I left, I was seasick. Mm-hmm. No joke. It was so weird. Whatever. So I was like, okay, I got this. I got Movie Box Pro so I could watch the stuff, and some guy recorded, and it was good quality. So I sat and watched it.
Okay.
In the comfort of my home without my eyes doing this so I could watch the screen.
Fair.
So I'm at home watching it, and I was just like, dude, I like this movie.
That's you know what, man? That's fair. Like I feel like there's this one YouTube channel by a guy who's like one of the few movie people that whose opinions I care about because I think he's very like fair and not like trying to sound like his opinion is the correct opinion of like how you should encounter movies or whatever. He's not like one of these video essay guys who like
you talk so much shit about those guys, dude. Why? I respect them.
I know you do.
I've been listening to a lot of kids, and I'm just like, no, dude, you're not ripe yet. Like, if you were a tree, if you were a fruit, you'd be low hanging, bro. Like, some of these guys, like, I watched 2, 3, 4 videos, and I got halfway through it, and I was like, this guy's completely talking bullshit about like the Fast franchise and shit. I'm like, go fuck yourself. They're like, who's watching it? I'm like, I'm watching it. Oh, and they'd say like little ignorant, like little kid shit, right? And I'd be like, when you like accented cinema, I love him.
Yeah, he's great.
He has a great tone. He has a great way to tell.
But also when he talks about stuff, he talks about like from his own personal like viewpoint. He's
his
not
cultural.
And he's not saying like, look, I went to film school. I know what's correct and how movies should be made. He's just like, this is how I enjoy movies, and this is what I like in movies. This did not work for me. And that's, I think, the best approach is saying like, and it's my favorite approach because when I always think of like movies that are really good, and then I hear like somebody say like I didn't like that movie, I want to hear why. And when they say like it didn't work for me, that's fair because like what I liked about it, maybe they didn't like about it. To bring up another example of a movie thing that I like, a movie like. Or a show about movies that I like, a podcast, The Movies That Made Me, one of the hosts, Joe Dante, the director of Gremlins and The Howling and Matinee and a bunch of other great movies, there's a movie that his co-host, Josh Olson, who wrote the screenplay for A History of Violence, and he talks about how he loves the movie Blowout by Brian De Palma, and Joe Dante does not care for that movie. I think it's fucking great.
I love the intro.
It's
as soon as the scream happens, I'm like,
oh, it's so good. It's really good.
It's such a great way to.
But Joe Dante's like, it didn't work for me. The ending, I don't buy the ending. He doesn't. He watches the ending doesn't work for him.
Okay.
And it's just like, this is a man who's made some of the greatest, most memorable movies of all time.
Okay.
In his opinion about another work of another filmmaker, you know what? I value that, because even if because I can say how much I love it, but if he doesn't like it, that's his opinion, and that's how he's gonna feel about it. I'm not gonna try to convince him, but I like to hear why he didn't like it, and that's fine.
I believe, like, sometimes I listen to someone, it's like they come off like so ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's not even like comfortable to keep listening to.
Yes.
You know? They have like that one thing. Like, you could say some ridiculous shit, but it's like sometimes it's how you say it. And it's like, they'll be like, "Oh, this movie's like that drinker guy."
Yeah. Oh, critical drinker.
The critical drinker.
Fucking that dude.
I love the way he was like, it was as uncomfortable as driving 100 miles per hour in a Ferrari and then putting it on reverse. I was like, that is a great way to describe this made you uncomfortable. Yeah. But some people will be like, yeah, this guy's a child predator. He's a fucking cuck. This, and that. He's, oh my God. I'm like, bro, where the fuck are you like going off about this conspiracy series shit, dude? It's like, were you there? Were you a part of it?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
What the fuck, man? You're making me uncomfortable.
Yeah. Well, but to bring it back to what I was saying about you liking The Little Mermaid. Yeah. So this guy, Serial Midnight, he talked about, he reviewed like he did like also he does like 5-minute reviews. Like, he's in and out, gives you the basics, he doesn't overstay his welcome. Wonderful. More of that, please. But he did like a spoiler-free like 5-minute review. He talked about how he liked the movie fine. He thought it was good. He didn't think it was like mind-blowing or anything, and he liked the performances. But he talked about how like it seems like everybody who has seen some of these like live-action Disney remakes, there's at least one of them that like clicks of one with like there's got to be at least one that works for somebody. And for him, it's the live-action Aladdin. Out of all the ones that have come out, that's his favorite.
That was all right.
Yeah, I think Will Smith is a good. Like,
he wasn't bad.
No, he wasn't bad. I think look, if you couldn't get Robin Williams, I think Will Smith has the same energy, you know? He can be wacky and funny, and it's good to see a fun Will Smith again, you know? Yeah. But I think that's a good example of like, see, you like The Little Mermaid, you saw it twice, you thought it was good, it worked both times you watched it. Mm-hmm. He likes that live action Aladdin. Me, honestly, I kind of like the live action Aladdin too.
I was upset because when they got to the reprise in the beginning, the one jump ahead, they like half-ass it, or they just didn't.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
I'm like, that's his "I Want" song, and it's like you didn't like. When I saw him present it, I was just like, oh fuck.
Actually, you know what? Right. The one for me that I think maybe worked that I liked a little more is probably that live action Beauty and the Beast. Mostly because like they try to actually flesh out the Beast more, and I appreciate them giving the Beast a song. You see what I mean? And also, fucking Luke Evans as Gaston. Perfect casting, man. Come on.
Luke Evans, what's he been in?
He's in Dracula Untold. He's in the Hobbit movies. He's Bard the Bowman.
More like Dracula Unwatched.
That's true. That movie was not good.
Was it good?
That was not good.
Oh, okay.
They really tried to start that dark universe.
That wasn't when they did the Mummy. You're lying.
That they retroactively said, "Oh, it's part of the Dark Universe."
And they did. Was it in the intro though? In the beginning,
no,
like the credits?
I think they added that I think they added that in or something. But it failed. It's not happening.
Why did the Mummy fail?
I watched that Mummy, and it was strange, and I wanted to see what else they would have done with it. Because also, what's his name? Russell Crowe as Mr. Hyde was a weird choice. That was a kind of fun fight scene. I need to watch
it again, dude.
Yeah. Anyways, all right. Okay, so you like that Little Mermaid? It worked both times.
Yeah.
Would you watch that live action Pinocchio with Tom Hanks?
Odom Shank? Where'd that come from? There's an OM, there's a Tom, there's a Hank,
it's a reference to The Simpsons where it's just like they're asking like they're watching like the little like movie trivia thing before the movie starts, or even the like trailers, and like they're referred to like an actor just like. What's the name of this actor unscrambled? And Lisa's like, that's easy, it's Tom Hanks. And then it unscrambles his Odom Shank. And it's just like, Odom Shank? And Apu comes up here and is like, oh yeah, he's like this like famous Indian actor.
Bro,
so now when I see Tom Hanks, I'm like, oh, it's Odom Shank.
Bro, as soon as you said Tom Hanks and Simpsons, I thought of the movie.
Yeah.
Tussle my hair, Tom Hanks.
Since America's lost credibility, they want to borrow some of mine. Anyways,
where'd we go with fuck? What? I didn't mean to Tom Hanks you. What
I asked you if you would consider watching that live action Pinocchio. Live action Pinocchio.
I did. Okay, man. I feel like it's like I said,
directed by Robert Zemeckis.
good for him.
You know,
I just okay, man. It gets a lot of shit all the time, like these new movies and everything, the whole live action stuff. I sit down and watch them.
Yeah, that's fair.
There's only one movie I got up and left, and it's because I had a dentist appointment. But it was The Revenant. It was just like too much.
That's fair. I had, you know what?
But I don't get up.
I had to get up.
And leave.
I had to get up and leave for one movie once in my life.
You told me.
What
was it? The baseball
the hockey movie? And then you know what? I liked it so much. I felt bad. It's like, oh, this movie's so good. Why am I can't believe I have to go to my friend's lousy house party.
No, I was kind of glad that I had to leave.
Really?
I was killing time before my dentist appointment, and I was just like,
okay,
I have to go.
Well,
and I just didn't.
Well, where I'm going with this is like, look, after I was done with that movie, I went back to the theater and rewatched it.
Oh, okay.
To finish that movie, it's like, sir, one more ticket for Goon, please. I like Sean William Scott. He's a good role for that movie.
Yeah.
But you were like, sir, I would like my money back, please, for The Revenant.
I seriously got up. It was the part when he got beat up by the bear. And
yeah.
And I was just like, I'm done, dude. He lost his son. He lost his business. He's almost losing his life. I'm like, I don't want to watch this freaking like, what is it when they
Miserablest?
When they kill people for a snuff film. I'm like, I don't want to watch this fucking snuff film, dude. I'm like, I'm done with
Fair.
And I had an appointment at 3:30, and it was like 3:20. I'm like, and it's down the street. I'm like, I'm leaving, dude.
It's okay. You know, you killed time. You tried to watch this movie that I think gave Leo his Oscar because he crawled inside of a dead horse.
I was upset about that because it's like, yeah, this is the movie that won him an Oscar. I'm like, I talked to my tattoo artist about it. He's like, finish it. I'm like, it's really that good. He's like, it's so good. He like gets retribution at the end of this.
He's only saying
no. It was this other guy.
Oh,
the guy
okay,
who
never
did
mind.
My leg.
Never mind. I was gonna say that dude. Well, like, you know what? I was gonna say, like, oh, if it's him, then he only tells you to watch it because it's directed by a Mexican guy.
Who directed it?
Alejandro González Iñárritu, the Revenant. The guy who did Amores Perros and like 21 Grams, Beautiful, Bardo, the recent Netflix movie.
Okay.
Birdman.
He did Birdman?
He did Birdman.
No.
Yeah.
With
Michael Keaton.
Tom Hanks.
Otem Shank. Yeah. Anyways, anything else?
No, I got everything up.
All right, cool.
What about you?
No, I'm good. Let's talk about Turn Left, Turn Right. How did you come across this movie?
Accented Cinema.
Okay, that works. Yeah.
He was talking about romance films one day, and this was the last pick of his. He chose Turn Left, Turn Right, and he also chose another one, Love in a Puff. I haven't seen that one yet, and he has another one where this guy goes into mainland China, and he speaks Cantonese, and they speak a different language, but he meets someone who speaks his language at a McDonald's, and it shows them becoming friends. Like, yeah.
It makes me think. You actually reminded me of like Ang Lee. You know,
Ang Lee?
I hate to bring up his more popular movies, but initially it's his maybe
he's not the Dove guy.
John Woo.
Okay.
Ang Lee, The Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Oh God. Yeah.
But before that, he was making movies about the Taiwanese American experience. Movies like Eat, Drink, Man, and Woman. I think that's called The Wedding Feast. I mean, movies that he's covered, like Accident Cinema's covered. And I think like after like his small little run of like movies about the like Taiwanese American experience, Hollywood just like, wow, you're so great, Ang Lee. And he went to school at the same time. I think we went to New York, went to like the New York film, New York Film School with Spike Lee. The two leads were in the same school together, learning to be filmmakers. Isn't that wild? But yeah, Hollywood came a knocking. He does like the '90s version of Pride and Prejudice. He then starts graduating towards stuff like The Ice Storm, which is about the worst Thanksgiving ever had in the '70s, starring a young Christina Ricci and Tobey Maguire.
Wait, how'd we get on Ang Lee?
Because you were talking about
Accented Cinema.
and you were talking about these movies reminding me about Ang Lee.
Okay.
His movie, he's had a very interesting career. But anyways, so you got the idea from Accented Cinema, and also, by the way, that copy that I watched on YouTube. Why does it start off with like the most worst sound possible before it gets to the actual sound of the movie? It's like this.
Okay, I remember that. Because it's free on the internet.
I know. It's so bizarre. I'm like, there's no way Jonathan watched this entire movie.
Bro,
like
I only watched it because Accented, bro. And when I hope this, like, you know, when you tell people, oh, watch my previous film.
Yeah.
Listen to our previous podcast.
Yeah.
You were going off on like, we were talking about like some lovey-dovey shit. And
yeah.
when you were speaking, I was just like, I have to watch Turn Left. Turn Right.
I'm glad I watched it. I thought it was good. Like,
so it ties to our podcast.
It's funny you brought this up because this plot is very similar to the plot of a French film from the 60s, a French musical called The Young Girls of Rochefort, which features an older Gene Kelly in one of his like last film roles, I think, and a young Catherine Deneuve and her twin sister Francois Dorliac before she died in a car crash. But it's the exact same. It's a love story, and it's all about misconnections. But instead of just about these two star-crossed lovers who kept missing each other, it's about all these multiple people in the same small town, Rochefort, who just keep missing each other. It's just like, like so-and-so loves her, and they would get along, but they're never in the same place at the same time. So the whole movie just like,
Then how do you know they get along if they're never together?
It's one of these, like, you just have to kind of like...
If I watch it, it'll make sense.
Yeah. It's one also, like, they kind of... You know, like, the movie's building up because they're clearly, like, a perfect match for each other when you watch them interact with the shadow of or idea of the person that they're gonna end up with. And it's just like, I wonder if Ka-Fai or Wi-Fi... God, I'm gonna butcher his names. I think it's Ka-Fai and Johnnie To are familiar with that movie because either that or at the very least the artist who made the graphic novel that the movie's based off. I wonder if he's familiar or they're familiar with that movie because it's very similar, all about these like misconnections, but also I've never read that graphic novel, but now I want to because I want to see because I was reading some trivia about it and saying that like the filmmakers did a really good job of like trying to recreate some of the like illustrations from it, like
the bicycle scene.
Yeah, it's trying to recreate it, and along with like the little poetry stuff at the like that's on the page.
The Polish shit they were saying.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's better than meeting someone. Or
by the way, okay, that restaurant owner who's just like, when you get famous, I'll tell everybody I won't tell anyone you worked here. Bless that man.
Why?
He gets it.
Why? Why is that so bad?
Because it's just like, nobody famous wants to be like,
or he came from the gutter, dude. He came from the bottom.
I know, but like I like that he's just like, he gets it. Just like, you're a really good violinist. If you ever get famous, I won't tell anyone you slummed it,
bro.
He's protecting his like,
Well, I like how he was very like parenty with it, but it's like I used to sing like downtown, bro. If someone would be like, I remember when you used to sing downtown, bro, and people would throw pennies at you, dude. It's like I'd be like, that is a real.
All right,
moment.
fine, but I thought it was cute. I thought it was fun.
No, it's very considerate.
Also, I like that they're the people that are crushing on them.
Yeah, the ones that's not for them.
I love how horrible they are. I love how
they're made for each other.
I know,
but they're not with each other.
I know
until
the end, and even then, they're still like they still have the sense of like responsibility. Just like, you know what? I think we've been real shitty. I think we should at least give these poor star-crossed lovers a chance. But also, if they call each other, at least they thought about us. Maybe,
I just liked how I was hook, lined, and sunk in, dude, until the end because it's like, are they? Will they?
My wife was on the edge. My wife was on the edge of her seat.
I was your wife, dude. I was just like, what are they doing? What's happening? What is
Me too.
She's leaving. She's leaving. Like, what's going on?
I know, and it's just like. Also, I pointed out, like, I like how when they call each other's like voice like they're leave a message, it's their respective like crush or whatever, and I like how they don't question it because they just assumed, oh yeah, they're dating them now. So that's why they're just like.
Wait, say that again. Say it again.
I like that when they call. They leave the messages on their like message machines at the end, and the voice of the person that wants to be with them comes up in like the meanest voicemail. It's like, hey, you're leaving this is a message machine for so and so, whatever,
Oh,
and I like how they don't question it because it's just like I guess they just assume like, oh yeah, they're probably dating them, but so I'm not gonna question that they showed up with them or whatever because they do encounter each other. At one point, when they give the little phone number and it's the other person's phone number for real instead, I liked it a great deal. Also, I'm reminded a lot of a style of Hong Kong filmmaking.
What do you notice?
So Johnnie To, like I said, is one of the co-directors, and his co-director is also his writing partner on a lot of this and co-producer.
Like you and me.
Yeah, exactly. But like, I like there is a lot of economic filmmaking in it.
Going? When she was running down into
the
city?
Like, you notice the crane shots, how they get as much action as possible in one take?
Okay.
that's economic filmmaking, and that's a thing that
Like when they were destroying the fountain?
When they were destroying the fountain, or even when like they're just walking the street, just like, all right, we want to take the camera here, move it around here. We want to keep visual interest, so we'll keep the camera moving so as to not to bore the Hong Kong audience who are here not to watch art, but to watch entertainment. That's very Hong Kongy. That's a very kind of Hong Kong
give
style.
Them a shot they don't see regularly.
Well, I mean, to the point where like I see like crane shots and I think like, oh yeah, fucking Hong Kong cinema is like full of crane shots. They love that shit. It's all over the place in like stuff like Kung Fu Hustle and Shaolin Soccer. Stephen Chow does that style. But like Johnny To, I think is like.
Would you be against it as a director?
No, but I need to have a crane first. I know nowadays we just do the drone shot, but a drone, when you see a drone shot, I always know it's a drone because it feels floaty, you know?
Okay, yeah.
But a crane shot, it's just like, it takes so much maneuvering and like, to like get that much like action in a single shot and to follow everything and to keep visual interest and kind of keep it mobile and like energetic. Like, I want to call it like athletic filmmaking because it's just like, this crane is moving everywhere and keep making sure they establish the setting and like the direction of movement in like, of these characters at the same time, while also not just being like being practical. It's also still being kind of stylish. It's just like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about, Johnny.
Okay, so you're
I'm for it. I fucking love it.
I thought
love
you were
it.
talking shit.
No, I fucking love it. I love like these crane shots. I'm like, shit, damn. Like, and then also like the way the little montage that that the girl has when she's like talking about like all these kind of missed moments at the beginning, and you kind of see these shots where like they're like in the foreground, in the background. I'm like, that's the kind of like filmmaking I live for. It's like these kind of montages, like you get it. It's like so, it like presents everything so fucking clearly. Just like yes, and it's really, like feels magical, you know.
What really grounded it and made it feel like real to touch is like when she got the photos at the end, and she's like,
oh my!
Have you noticed? They're like, what is my man doing with your man? Like the two weirdos and shit.
Yeah.
They're like, what is he always doing in every photo? And they like circle it out, and I'm just like,
and then when they get at the end and they look at it, just like these fucking little missed moments. It's just like how many like. It reminds me of like when I used to go on like Craigslist and see like the missed connections page.
You're lying.
And I would think of like, who are these people? It's like, who are these people trying to connect with these like missed connections? It's just like, I saw you and like on the, like you said, like on the bus, you were handsome. You were so chiseled, and I wanted to say something, but I couldn't at the time. Yeah. And we're like, that's fucking poetry. I thought about taking collecting a bunch of those, my favorite ones, and like trying to recreate those moments with somebody narrating over them. Like when I was going through like my very kind of like heavy narration phase of like filmmaking, and I'm like kind of what I did with my movie Goner.
Yeah, heavy.
But do that with like these misconnection like Craigslist things, and just like.
I was thinking about that a couple of years ago, right? I was in Mexico and I got on a bus, and this girl reminded me of another girl, and she was really pretty and all this crap, and I was just like, I think we love the mystery more than the actual like connection.
Yeah. Oh, you know, there's a line from a movie. It's one of the movies that my wife and I first saw when we first started dating. It's from a movie called Evening, and there's this big dramatic scene, and at the very end, like one of the main characters tells this dude who's been crushing on her, is like, "You don't love me. You're in love with the idea of me."
I remember saying that to my girl once.
And you know what? It's fair, because like how many times have you just like liked somebody because you think they were like cool, or like you think you'd be a good match?
We get spellbound and everything, you know. So it's like when the spell is broken, you're just like, you're not in love with me. You're in love with the thought of me.
Yeah.
Of like having someone there.
This
for
idealized version of them, you know.
Yeah, and it's like, well, if you did, then why am I thinking you don't?
Yeah.
You know. So it's just like. Like I said, it's
funny how like both of these people like they met each other once when they were kids. They met each other again 10 years later, and that like brief moment of them meeting each other is enough to like realize like their hearts are like intertwined. You know, you want them to end together because I mean it's like a fairy tale. It's pretty much like a modern day fairy tale.
They're in the city. They're alone. They're sick. They need help. You know.
By the way,
the doctor and everything.
By the way, I do like some of the comedy. I was just like. Oh, I have to call the ambulance to take me to the hospital. Oh, I guess it must have been not mine. What's taking them so long?
And it was for her or him. It was for him.
And he's like, I don't remember calling anybody. Maybe you fainted before you called. That makes sense to me. Just grab my stuff, and they grab the same things.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. All these like little funny like mistakes and like happenstances that are caused by each other's like just being in close proximity, you know? It's just like, God damn it. This is the kind of shit that I love. This is what I was trying to capture when I wrote my screenplay for my screenwriting class. Like, the idea of, like, people who want to be together but can't because of, like, their own... No, like, big villain who's trying to, like, keep them separately. Although... The two weirdos are the big villains, but even then, at the end, like they kind of concede to the idea that fine, fuck it, these guys. You know what? We're so spiteful. We should be together. I love that.
Like we should join forces.
Yeah, it's like it's so good, you know.
And I love how they call each other by their number. 78412.
Where are you? Yeah. I like that. Too.
Like, fuck, dude. I'm like.
I like the little part when they're down with the flu and they're like, is this 789? And it's like no, this is a hospital or whatever. I'm like, oh,
this is a funeral home.
Yes, sort of crematorium. Another thing that I pointed out to my wife is just like it's funny to see the food delivery thing because I feel like that's now a more popular thing in the States thanks to like DoorDash and Uber Eats. But I noticed that, like, in a lot of East Asian countries, that's fucking normal. Like, you see that stuff in Japanese, like, contemporary Japanese movies, Taiwanese movies, and just, like, why did it take the States so long to get with the idea of, delivery takeout food, you know?
They would deliver pizza for Broadway Pizza, like, if you lived within a certain area of the grid. So it's, like, it's very common in, like, businesses in the city. But if you're, like, in the country, it's like, you really want me to drop off this pizza 30 minutes away?
Oh, fair. But, like, I'm just saying, like, outside of pizza, though, like, the idea of, like, calling up a restaurant, not just, like,
and have
a McDonald's or whatever, but, like, I'm talking about, like, a Chinese food or an Indian restaurant, just like having their takeout stuff. I mean, there is takeout at like a lot of Chinese restaurants, but like to have them deliver that, man, you know, I feel like places like New York do that. Obviously because of their like huge Chinatowns, but like I don't know. I feel like that's missed money right there.
I don't know, man. I'm not very big on that DoorDash and shit.
You wouldn't want to say like, man, I could go for some tacos like the carnitas or whatever or al pastor. I mean, if you could eat red meat, you wouldn't be like, man, I'm chosen for some al pastor. Call up your local Mexican restaurant.
I stopped smoking, right? And from October till recently, I would just have to drive to Sacramento,
right,
to let off some steam, like how you had to let off some steam when you come back from work today.
Yeah,
it's like you need some time.
Decompress. Yeah,
let off the desahogarte.
Yeah, desahogarte. Right.
So I'm over there just driving, and it's just like sometimes my mom would get mad at me because she's like, I have you on camera, and you're not home until like 11 o'clock at night.
Sheesh.
Yeah, so I'm very regulated, so I can't do dumb shit. It's not
fair.
Yeah, and
maybe it's for the best. Maybe so, you know.
Yeah, no, and it's good to it keeps me grounded, like I said, because it's like I could be running around late, going to the movies at 8-9 o'clock and coming back at 1 in the morning.
All right, to be fair, when I used to work a lot of like swing and night shift jobs to kind of keep my schedule. When I wasn't working, I would go to the movie. I would catch the latest show possible, and I would watch a lot of movies that way. But it was just so I could keep my sleep rhythm together.
When I was on A1, they're like, hey, we're going to seasonal. They're like, you're going to be hired full on, but we're going to need you on B2.
Oh, no.
I was talking to, his name was Jake, like State Farm.
Yeah.
And I was like, Jake, we need to do something, dude.
Jake
the
Snake.
I'm on medication, and it's like, I have to take it at night. And it's like, I'm like, I could talk to my doctor. So I talked to my doctor, right? And I was like, she's like, yeah, we could have you take it in the morning, take your meds in the morning, and because that's when you'll sleep. And I told my mom, and she's like, you can't go back on graveyard because I did 4 years on that. And she was just like, yeah, you acted stupid, you were disconnected. She's like, you need to do day shift. So I talked to Jake, and I was like, please, like, is there any way like you can keep me on A1 or B1?
Yeah,
I can't work graveyard. And he's like, I'll see what I could do. And he like stuck his neck out and was like, you could stay in the morning.
You owe him
because of my meds.
Yeah.
I told him for years, 2 years, and then he got transferred to the machine, the rover pick thing.
Yeah.
He got shipped over there, but I was like, thank you all. Every time I saw it, I was like, thank you for doing that for me. Like,
I'm glad you kept your word and you like honor this man. That's good.
The first time I met him, I was like, yeah, I don't smoke those funny cigarettes. And he's like, what? I'm like, with marijuana. And I made him laugh. I was there with like 2 other seasonal guys.
You don't smoke the devil's lettuce?
Yeah, and I made him
Sir,
laugh.
Are you trying to tell me
you do
that you don't smoke reefer, like you don't smoke marijuana cigarettes?
Yeah.
Reefers?
I heard freaking The Rock say he was in California. He's like, you're over here smoking them funny cigarettes. When he was a heel, when he was Hollywood Rock, we saw him live. It was him and Stone Cold. Then he was like closing out. There's two. He did it in Cleveland. 2 times he played the guitar live. Once the WrestleMania before,
right?
The Raw before WrestleMania 19,
right?
And we saw him in Sacramento. We knew about SmackDown and their storyline, so when we showed up and watched them, we're like, we don't know none of these guys, but we still had a good time.
Right.
But The Rock, I rewatched it recently, like 2-3 years ago, because I had WWE Network, but now it's on Peacock. And I went to that episode March 23rd, 2003, and he's like, "Oh, I'm over here, best friends with Willie Nelson. You guys over here smoking them funny cigarettes." So I just use them funny cigarettes all the time to describe marijuana now. Dude.
That's funny. I like. My brother always says you're smoking the devil's lettuce or whatever. It's a good one. Yeah. But also, I'm not gonna lie. If I get a chance to act like some kind of 1950s square, I'll say like, "Sir, is that a marijuana cigarette, or as you young people call a reefer?"
Bro, we had to watch.
Because calling it a reefer is hilarious. Not like reefer, a reefer.
Bro, it's just funny how you say shit like that.
Yeah,
it's just like. This is because I remember one time I was talking to the Mian chick, right?
Yeah.
And I was just like, yeah, I'm on the Facebook. She's like, call it Facebook. I'm like,
no.
So I'm on the Facebook. And I was just trying to be like bluntly ignorant, dude. Like just I'm an old heathen.
I like
and
how
I call it the Facebook.
I like when I say things old timey on purpose, it does bother people, as if like I'm so disconnected. It's like no, look, I'm not disconnected. I'm just choosing to sound like a geezer,
bro. If you say reefer, they'll know what you're talking about. But if you say funny cigarette, they're like, what the fuck? Like I had to explain. I'm like, like marijuana and a stick, like, and my boss is just there like, what? You don't smoke the reefer, okay?
The ganja.
Yeah, so I made him and like 2 other people laugh, and I'm just like, I didn't do that on purpose. I was just trying to tell him what I do on my spare time. I'm like, I like smoking cigarettes, but not the funny cigarettes.
Not the funny kind.
Not the funny
not
kind.
Not the laughing kind. Not the kind that make you laugh.
No, man.
Want to play the piano faster?
How did we get on this topic?
That's a good question. I think
how did we break from the movie to this, dude?
I'm trying to go back and think. I think it has to do with... Well, probably when I edit this, I'll put in editing, Carlos.
Were we talking about the shitty people?
Yes, we were
getting together.
Yes.
And fuck, how did we connect that to wrestling? I had to just bring up. Oh, my boss, graveyard. Fuck.
Well, look, I'll put in editing, Carlos, here in a second, and he'll explain how we got off track. Because this is kind of a funny bit I want to leave in. Hi, this is editing, Carlos. I just want to let you know that I just finished listening to this part, and yeah, I honestly maybe got distracted or something, but I don't know how we got on the topic of funny cigarettes. I think we were just talking about like routines and stuff. We got off track real fast. I apologize. I promised I'd be here, and now I did not help the situation. I apologize. So one thing that I remembered is that you kept on calling this movie cheesy or like corny.
Yeah, when I talked on the phone with you.
Yes. Do you still believe that?
Bro,
because look, I agree that the acting is broad, but I think that's also like a standard, or it seems to be like a standard for a lot of these kind of comedies. They play it pretty broadly, because it just kind of makes me think of like how in like Mexican comedies, in order to tell people this is a funny scene, we better act goofy, you know?
It's basically like saying, let's watch The Notebook.
Yeah.
It's just like such a corny love story, right?
I guess, but I mean, the thing is, like, I feel like
guilty pleasure, bro. It's like,
it's not a guilty. I don't feel,
dude. This is how you know it's a movie. It's like, it's so far fetched, bro. Oh, we met when we were young. We met again, but we lost our phone numbers. And I was leaving the city, and you happened to find me when an earthquake breaks the wall between us. How corny is that, dude?
I don't care. I think it's great, and
I enjoyed it.
I can't say like, look.
Such a guilty
here's the
pleasure
thing.
for me.
You keep saying guilty pleasure as if you feel bad for liking it.
I do. I feel terrible. Dude. I enjoyed it.
Oh, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Is there Nazi shit in this movie?
There should be, but there ain't. They brought up the Polacks.
Hey, they got annexed, man. Give them a break. They like the Polish people have had a hard time, and they make good movies, like Possession.
Okay. I just like watching it. It's like It was
know,
just
okay,
like, it was fucking with my emotions. Like I said, at the end, I'm like, will they, won't they? And it's like,
that's how it's got you by the balls,
bro,
man.
and I hated that they got me like that. It's like watching a scary movie, but that you have that tension.
That's how you.
That's
how you know it works.
That's how you. They played me like a violin.
No,
like,
that's good.
Like the guy played the fucking violin in the movie.
That
bro.
means
They
that the
played
movie.
me.
That means the movie worked. Like if a movie gets you and it makes you suspend your like how it makes you believe into the world that it's presented, and also like look, the movie knows that it's like far-fetched. It's essentially a modern fairy tale. It's supposed to be poetic. So
the girl that gave him a ride in the beginning, the girl who was smoking
the funny cigarette.
No, a real cigarette.
I thought it was like a funny cigarette.
Let's say she's smoking a funny cigarette.
I thought it was
right?
just like that one scene from
started
Training.
looking all weird and
Yeah,
evil. It probably was a marijuana cigarette. You're right.
You know, it made me think of that one. Okay, I know. I know what the actual thing is referencing, but it made me think of that skit that was making fun of Training Day on Chappelle's show. What's in the cigarette, Wayne Brady? That's PCP. Angel
I was gonna
dust.
say angels. Bro, so that's probably where they got it.
They watched Training Day.
No, they watched
Chappelle. This movie came out in 2003. Come on.
When did Training? I don't
2001,
like
I think. Or 2002. I don't like Training
Day
Day either.
It's so over the top, dude. This guy's just like, I'm a gangster. I'm hella gangster. My name's Denzel Washington. Fool, I'm teaching you the ways. Smoke this shit. Fuck off.
You think and he gets shot in the ass at the end, so it's fine. I like that. Like I like he gets shot in the most humiliating way possible. Like my ass.
When they had the gunfight at his kid's house, it's like, go fuck yourself, dude. They made a good bad guy.
He made a good bad guy
him from the beginning.
Fair.
I'm trying to read my newspaper. Say something or whatever. I'm just like, oh god, man, it's his first damn job, bro. Don't bust his balls.
That scene, like, for some reason, like the scenes at the kid, like at his kid's house, makes me think of the movie A Perfect World, directed by Clint Eastwood, starring Kevin Costner. It's a movie. Okay, it's a movie that I watched a lot as a kid because my parents had the tape at home. Okay. It's a very dark fucking movie. It was like one of Clint's like 90s movies, one of his 90s dramas, but essentially
Clint and Costner. Why haven't I seen this?
And he's in the movie. Clint's in the movie. He's the cop. He's the cop hunting down Costner. He's a criminal. He's got a little boy with him who spends most of the movie wearing a Casper costume. And he's like, I can't believe I've fucking stolen this for my own work, but like
Tigers or
no for my animation stuff, my Grinch thing. But like, in order to kind of keep the kid from like realizing that they're being hunted by the cops, he kind of plays it off as like a game.
We're playing cops and robbers.
Something like that, yeah. And it's like, I mean, it's a big tragedy at the end, but there's like a scene where he like holds this like family hostage, and it's fucking scary because it's just like the whole movie you're kind of on the kids. Perfect World.
Perfect World.
A Perfect World.
A Perfect World.
I'll never forget that fucking like white box, like that white faded looking cover art for the tape, man. It's fucking. I look, man. I like Clint Eastwood as a director. I don't care what people say. I think even his like weird movies, I go to bat for his weird movies. When he gets weird, when he makes shit like Bird about Charlie Parker, or when he makes God, is it In the Garden of Good and Evil? The one where he is essentially doing a fictionalized version of the directing of the African Queen, where Clint Eastwood himself is doing a John Huston impression, and it doesn't work, but I can tell that he's trying to sound and act like John Huston, and I know what that man sounds and acts like, because he talks like this, you see. I don't know if you've seen Chinatown, but he's the dad in that movie. He's like, you see, when I direct movies, you have to tell an actor to be very comfortable. Otherwise, things can get out of hand.
Keep your hands off my flaccid cock.
Yeah.
You sound just like
I have. Keep your hands off my
flaccid dick.
That's the one who touched me on the penis.
But the whole car scene with that weird lady.
Yeah,
he stopped going from that way, so he like started using the other way to
and then she got scared of the tree, so she went the other way.
Yeah, so it's
and just like again, it's all
separated them.
Yeah, and it's just like I don't know. I was drawn into it. Look, I'm a fan. Like, I'm not a big stickler for realism, as you can see by the films I've made. I'm not a big stickler for like making sure that this is like realistic.
Yeah. I
go for stylization and artifice because look, I'm watching a movie. If I wanted to make it realistic, I'll make a documentary.
Yeah.
I do not mind if my movies are are like more stylized. They exist in like a never land, and that's fine. Like I want it. Like, look, people go watch the Fast and Furious movies. Those movies started off as a movie about street racing, and now it's literally Car Avengers.
Bro, I wanted it. I'm probably
okay. If you saw the first Fast and Furious movie, and you told yourself like, there's no like, I wonder if like in like 10 movies from now, 9 movies from now, they'll be like killing helicopters with cars.
I thought this would be a great thing for like an intro. Mm-hmm. We love to play pretend. Come play pretend with us.
Yeah, okay. Are you stealing that from someone?
No.
Okay.
I was watching something and I was just like, when you're an actor, you're playing pretend.
Yeah.
And I remember being a little kid playing pretend.
You know what's funny? It makes me think of my favorite thing that Laurence Olivier said to Dustin Hoffman when they were in the movie Marathon Man together.
Laurence Olivier?
Laurence Olivier was like, he's an old...
He was big in the 50s and 60s, right?
40s, 50s, 60s. He's a big Shakespearean actor. His Shakespeare movies like Henry V.
Hamlet?
He was Hamlet.
I think he was in Hamlet.
He directed and was Hamlet.
Fuck, that was a young... wasn't he in it?
Christopher Lee?
I could be wrong.
No,
there was some other actor that...
Well...
Like, he was young.
Yeah, but anyway, so...
Yeah. My bad.
Also, I share a birthday with Laurence Olivier.
Congratulations,
Thank
man.
you. I feel very proud of that.
I thought it was Lawrence Oliver.
I'll kill you.
Yeah.
So, Dustin Hoffman is a method actor, so he has to get in the character, think of like how fucking Marlon Brando. No, I was thinking Marlon Brando, okay. Where he cut the pockets out of his pants because
he grabbed his dick
because he figured that Stanley from A Streetcar Named Desire.
Great movie.
Is like a big loud. You probably want to have easy access to his dick to jerk off and to play around with it in his spare time, like a 12-year-old who just learned to masturbate. But anyways, like these are the guys. Like the method school is like we have to get in the character. We have to like find who these people are. We have to go out in the field and like study how they are. We have to become them. Stay in character.
Yeah.
And Dustin Hoffman goes up to like Laurence Olivier and asks him like, "Hey man, like how do you get in what do you do to like get in character? How do you do your thing?" And like Laurence Olivier's like, "Have you tried acting?" Because it's acting.
Why did you just say it like that?
Well, okay, because Laurence Olivier is like a fancy Englishman,
yeah,
and Dustin Hoffman's fucking Dustin Hoffman. He talks like this. He's like from New York. Hey, I'm walking here.
Yeah. He's like
midnight cowboy. Yeah. But I can just imagine just like a method actor asking a trained like classical like Shakespearean actor like, how do you get into character? What's your technique for getting into character? I act.
Yeah.
It's acting. Dude, it's acting. You're acting as a different person. You don't have to like do all the mental gymnastics to become the Joker. Just fucking...
I want one of them one day in an interview just to be like, we're playing pretend.
It makes me kind of think of like how Robert De Niro shows up to set, gets in the character. He's like, everybody's afraid of him. Then at the end of the day, he's just like the most boring man in the world. He's like Robert De Niro. I feel like Robert De Niro like... He like is like a stick in the mud in real life. He would not be fun to hang out with. Yeah. Whereas like hanging out with Harrison Ford is like hanging out with your like angry grandfather. My favorite thing is my old college friend David said like for some reason I imagine hanging out with Harrison Ford is like being at his house sitting in the living room quietly and then trying to say something and he just yells, "Shut up!" Shut up! We're gonna build a birdhouse.
Grandpa, I don't want to build a birdhouse.
Shut up! All right. I like woodworking. What do you know about woodworking, son?
Bro, there was one time I was listening to Christopher, the guy from Back to the Future, Lloyd.
Yeah.
He was saying
I like that guy.
He liked to do method because it's like he had this one scene where he had this type of energy, and he lost that energy, and when they had to reshoot like to finish it, like it wasn't consistent when you like played the film, right? So they like to stay in the same.
I've heard about that
vibration, of the character.
Yeah, I believe when people have their method to like get in the character, I just think the only time it doesn't work is when it disrupts everyone else who's trying to kind of work like a normal actor almost.
I think it was Johnny Depp. He was like, yeah, that whole method thing. It's like we all have what's that shit when they have lunch break together?
Yeah.
It's like you're in a pirate's costume. It's like you're getting, sliced ham or whatever. It's like
Yeah.
And you're there with the lighting guy and all that crap. It's like,
Yeah.
the method thing is just weird. Like, it was off for him because he's just like...
We are also talking about a man who cannot play the guitar.
Can he not? I thought he could. He plays the bass, no?
No, he plays the guitar. Plays the guitar. He's very bad at it. Like, my brother, much like Juan, our coworker and co-host of Nito and Friends, talks about, like, being good at guitar. Like, my brother is an actual, like, trained musician. He went to school for musicology. Yeah. He worked as a music teacher. He knows when somebody plays a guitar badly. And Johnny Depp is a guy who has been coasting on, like, shredding and finger picking and doing, like showy shit. Yeah. But, like, I realized one day, he's like, oh my god, Johnny Depp cannot play the guitar. He barely knows how to play it. So, actor Harry Dean Stanton, who is in a lot of movies, and I will get you familiarized with him.
Yeah, down the line.
They were celebrating his acting career. They were doing a little celebration of Harry Dean Stanton because he's, like, such a great character actor. And he's so, like, you see him, you always remember him. But he also likes to sing. And in one of his final movies, the movie Lucky, he gets to sing a couple Mexican songs because he knows how to sing them. And it's very charming, but he sings from his heart, so, like, it touches you. And he's singing some, like, these kind of classic folk ballads. He's singing the main theme song from Midnight Cowboy, Everybody's Talking by Harry Nilsson. And Johnny Depp's on stage with him because he's an actor and he's famous, obviously. A famous has to be up there. Oh, he can play the guitar, cool. He's up there. Harry Dean Stanton's trying to sing the song and fucking, like, Johnny Depp is like fucking up this song. He's like trying to, like, play this abstract and rocky, but it's just like the worst. It's like, you're ruining this song. It's almost unlistenable, and I'm like looking at the YouTube. I was like, "Oh, he's so good." He's like, "No, he's not."
Are we listening to the same thing?
Yeah, I know, right? Anyways, no, it just make me think of the acting in the movie. You know, like how everybody is acting very broadly, and I think that's pretty normal and par for the course for a lot of like Hong Kong or Chinese or Taiwanese comedies, because it always makes me think of like how comedy is presented in like movies from other countries, and I feel like. Maybe up until recently, American movies don't really try to do like the whoa, like cartoony, big, broad kind of comedy. I think it's mostly gone by the wayside, mostly because the dramatic comedy has kind of given way to that. But like in other countries, I feel like you can still see like a comedy and everybody's just like making like.
There was this thing recently I saw. It was like a little TikTok. It's like they were saying how like the most like intense scenes is just people yelling. And it's just like to have like a great like I feel like acting performance, you just have to yell really, really loud.
That's why I always think like the best acting performances are the ones where it's just like they're like super subtle, or just like it's like a tiny movement.
I watched Frontier.
Yeah.
I didn't bring that up.
Okay.
With Ed Harris and Miguel Pena. Michael Pena.
Ed Harris is like incredible.
He is too good. When I'm like, I told my mom. His name's Ed Harris, and he's been in every movie he
Apollo 13.
30% increase in just him alone. He makes that film 30% good. And with everyone else, you know. He's such a great actor.
I love him.
He's amazing. Pain and Gain. I loved him.
In Apollo 13, his little subtle movements, like he's a man who's like been the rock of that entire movie. He's like the one's like, no, we're bringing those boys back.
Yeah.
He's in the command center, and like the one time when like it's all said and done, they brought the boys back. It's a successful failure, and you see him like sitting down. Everybody else is cheering up, and you just see him like finally just like being able to like, but also wiping like tears. But then like immediately changing back to showing this kind of
he's a leader.
He's a leader, and just like fucking.
He's such a good actor.
Yeah, I always think of this one. Speaking of history of violence that I mentioned earlier. There's this great like panel he's doing where like I think somebody asked him about how like what acting is like or something, and he's just like acting's like violence, and just like he just like slams his table where he like that. See that's violence right there.
You showed me the clip. Like, you showed me the video.
I was like, whoa,
that was Mr. Harris.
Yeah, but he's good. I love him. You should watch the movie he did where he directed about Jackson Pollock. The
painter?
The painter who did all the splat. He played Jackson Pollock in the movie.
Did he do a good job?
I think he did a good job. There's a scene that I always think of when I think of like when people say like criticize like are criticizing something you're making. like there's a scene where his wife, although look, to be fair, Jackson Pollock in real life was a monster and a drunk. But there's a great scene where he's like just painting, and then his wife, who's like also a painter, an artist, comes up. He's like, "Well, I see a face, but this is all just lines. I mean, it's not figurative. I mean, I guess you're trying to do something." And he's like, "I'm not trying to do anything, B. I'm just trying to paint." Well, I can see that, but you have to be painting something. He's like, "Well, you fucking paint it." He just like drops the thing and walks away. So it's just like, I always think it's like, man.
Didn't he play God in Truman Show?
He was the main dude in Truman Show. He's good. He's good at everything, man.
Fuck, I hate how he's so good at everything, dude.
But we should probably watch Pollock down. That's going on our list now too.
Put it on the list, man.
I fucking love Ed Harris. He's so good.
Okay, what was
he's also great in one of my favorite George Romero movies, Night Riders.
Never seen it.
It's an 80s movie. Let me get to the premise. In the 80s, there is a group of bikers who go around doing a traveling Renaissance fair kind of thing. But the thing is, these bikers dress up like knights and do motorcycle jousting and like little like kind of motorcycle like chariot races and all that. But they act like they're like the Knights of the Round Table. And it's like it's super weird and like so esoteric, but it's also like I guess meant to be like a metaphor for George Romero's own relationship with like working independently outside of the system and all that. But like Ed Harris is the lead dude, and he's fucking great in it as King Billy. Fuck.
Was he a jouster?
He was the lead. He was their King Arthur, and he's like this dude. He's a man who's riding around a motorcycle, wearing knight armor, but he takes himself so serious. Like this is his life. He's not gonna get a job working at like at a schoolhouse or whatever. He's not gonna do that. He's gonna ride his motorcycle and keep to his chivalric code of honor. He's gonna act like At one point, a kid comes up to him. He's like, King Billy, I love you. I saw you in this magazine. Can I get your autograph?" He's like, and he tells him no. And he's like, and his like girlfriend, who's also playing his like queen during the show, is just like, "Billy, he like that kid. Like, why don't you give that kid his autograph? He looks up to you. You're here like." He likes what he's in those magazines. In the magazines, they present like these superheroes, these stuntmen. I'm different. This is real to me. This isn't like an act. Yeah. This is a code of honor. I'm not just some like comic book character. Yeah. You know, I'm King Billy. I'm out there like jousting and keeping up this like code of honor, keeping my group together. This is real to me. And just like, damn, Ed Harris, like you made me believe it.
Then.
He's like,
since then, dude.
And this is with him with like a little bit of hair still, by the way.
Yeah.
By the way, Ed Harris makes me not feel so bad that I'm a 30-something bald man.
Who's that one guy who did Def Jam? Something Rubin?
Def Jam.
But he's
the
bald.
video game Vendetta?
No, dude. Oh my
Space
God.
Jam?
Rick Rubin.
Or Rick Rubin?
You know Rick Rubin?
Okay, yeah, it sounds familiar.
Rick Rubin.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. All right.
Rick Rubin, dude, he's bald and he looks, check this out. He's just like big, he's had a beard.
Okay, yeah.
He's had beard and long hair since the 90s, bro, and he's never changed his look.
I respect that.
But he's just like.
But also, it's funny because I think, because remember, Ed Harris was also in the Abyss.
Yeah.
One of James Cameron.
Around that time, yeah. 85 or 6.
Yeah, so one of like an early James Cameron joint right after Terminator and after Aliens. And I guess the studio didn't want to get Ed Harris for that role because it's just like he doesn't have a full head of hair.
You don't need a full head of hair.
Exactly, because when you're that good of an actor, who cares if you have a full head of hair or not? It's just like no, Ed Harris
if you
is
want
like
a full head of hair, hire a woman.
And they did.
Damn bastards! Go fuck yourself. I'm bald by choice.
Well, he was balding. He was like an actor who was just like had a receding hairline. So it's just like, no, we need like a Tom Cruise or something in here.
Go fuck yourself.
Anyways, back to the movie. Is there anything else that you like?
What is your least favorite part about this film? Turn left, turn right. Besides that loud, crazy intro.
That's the fault of the video, though. That's the fault of the uploader. I don't know. I liked it all the way through. I wanted to complain about the acting style, but again, I think it's just more of like a I feel, and I could be wrong about this, and I'm okay with being wrong. I know there are some people out there who are just like, I'm gonna be wrong, and I don't want people to correct me, but I do want to correct me because that's how we learn and grow in this world. I could be wrong about this, but I wanted to dislike the broad acting style that was in it, but I can't hate it
From
for
both
that.
parties?
From both parties. I can't hate it because it's just like it's part of. I'm assuming it's just part of like the cultural like style of comedy from there. So I'm willing to say that like, look, maybe that's just how comedy is in like Hong Kong and Taiwan. And I think I've seen it in other movies and to think that like, okay, maybe this is just like this is a feature, not a bug. I want to say maybe that's something I disliked, but honestly, like the movie just kind of it held me, and I can't think of a thing that I disliked about it except for that like bad weird sound at the beginning of the uploader that the uploader had in it, and that's just I think a bad DVD rip. What's something you disliked about it?
Again, the whole how corny it is, but I don't go to a movie to watch something that's
Exactly.
real.
That's what documentaries are for.
I like the escape.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we're there for, man. Now, what's something you really liked about it? What's your favorite scene in it?
They got together at the end.
Exactly. My favorite scene is maybe, aside from that, I definitely like how both the people who had crushes on them, it's like there are scenes where they essentially say like, look, like I know you're moving away, so here's my number just in case you ever think about me. It's just like, why'd you give him your number? I didn't give him my number. I gave him the other person's number. It's like, why would you do that? Because maybe if they think about me, they'll call them and like they think it's like this. They do the mental gymnastics thing. Like, well, they clearly want to talk to me and think about me. Maybe they had second thoughts, but also they're gonna call the person they really care about. So I'm also telling myself there's a chance, but also I'm enabling them to actually get together and stop being pieces of shit to them. So I like that, and of course I like the scene where they're like looking at all the photos of like that whole like. The photos of their like missed encounters, where they're like feet apart in the crowd. It's just like that felt so real, and it's like the most romantic like fairy tale. It makes again, like I said earlier, it makes me think of the romantic ideal of the missed connection. I saw you at the grocery line, and I thought you were the most beautiful creature I've seen in my life. You know that.
Is that you reading the Craigslist thing again?
I think I've read that before. There's a whole bunch of them. I don't know if they're still on Craigslist anymore because I know they got rid of the hookup page now. Which, look, man, I'll be honest. There was something weird and magical about going on Craigslist, saying like looking like male, like straight male 24 or something, looking for a date or like a quick hookup. Who's down? There's something weird and magical because like you know people. Like had like quick one night stands like that all the time.
One of the guys at work married his wife like that.
Really?
Yeah, Jay, one of the GPMers.
Well, there you go. Yeah. There you go. See, love prevails even on Craigslist.
What do you call it? I also wrote 4 of China's great fairy tales are love stories, and I wrote Butterfly Lovers, Legend of the White Snake, which I heard is very good. I want to watch that one. Lady Meng Jing, The Cowherder, and The Weaver Girl. And
okay.
I guess so. It's like China's known. Like their top hits are just basically love films, so that's why it was probably very popular.
There's another. Okay, now you just reminded me of something. So another movie that this is a critically acclaimed film that I do not care for, but I feel like I have to rewatch it to see if I still feel the same way. But the movie In the Mood for Love is also about like forbidden love and like, but in this case it's not misconnections. It's more like for cultural and societal reasons they can't get together. So it's about like this kind of deep longing and all that, and I get it, but also it didn't strike with me. But it's considered one of the best like romantic movies ever made, so I feel like I have to give it another try. But it reminded me of that director Wong Kar-wai, who I realize visually I love his movies. Story-wise, I'm 50-50 on them. But the lead actor in this movie, Takeshi Kaneshiro, I did not realize that like almost 11 years earlier, maybe like 12 years earlier, was in one of Wong Kar-wai's movies. He was in Chungking Express, where he played the lovesick cop who eats all these like expiring pineapple cans at the beginning of the first story.
That's a great way to introduce him.
It's great, and Garfield's in it too.
What do you mean?
Garfield the cat. There's a big plush Garfield in one of the characters' house.
So that ties into liking.
But also, just the style I think is fucking like aspirational. If you watch like this guy's movies, just like fuck, I just want to shoot. I just want to go to like a Chinatown or like a place filled with so much like neon lights and just shoot like night scenes with like rain.
I liked how they were just like two artistic people. Like one was a translator for like,
which you don't hear about a lot.
Yeah, and then the other one was the violinist.
Yeah.
It's like they were very, very artistic people, you know.
Yeah,
so
and they belong to each other. And I like how there's that one like mean old lady who gets with that one guy, and I like that they ended up together. You know. So, and I like how there's that baby that they try to act like that he just kind of goes up and is like, have you seen this person? I'm like, bro, leave that baby alone, man.
Bro, when they're like in the fountain and shit.
Yes.
Like those papers are fucked, dude.
Oh, I know, I saw them.
Those papers are fucked.
Also, when like they're like spreading them across the lawn, my first thought is like,
wind.
It needs one wind. My wife and I said the same
gust
thing.
of wind.
And it's like, that's all gone.
It's done.
Yeah. But it's a good movie. I liked it a lot. I feel like we should, I definitely need to like maybe, I was thinking of what to follow this up with. And I'm thinking either...
What are we watching next week?
I was thinking of either being thematic with this, but I started watching this recently. I'm like, Jonathan and I have been talking about making a movie on 16mm recently. Yes, and there is something that I feel like you should watch to kind of get an idea of what a feature that utilizes 16mm looks like.
Okay. So,
rather than recommend the movie Throwdown, also by Johnnie To, or The Young Girls of Rochefort by... Jacques Demy, the French movie that has a lot thematically in common with this. Instead, I'm going to say we're going to watch the movie I'm Not There, directed by Todd Haynes from 2007. It is a movie where Christian Bale, Heath Ledger, Richard Gere, Cate Blanchett, and a young actor named Marcus Carl Franklin all play... Oh, and Ben Whishaw. All play...
I love Ben.
Bob Dylan. All 6 of these actors play a different version of Bob Dylan in the different lives. In attitude, but maybe not in name.
Didn't Oscar Isaac play Bob Dylan?
No, he played someone who was near Bob Dylan, and I have that movie. It's one of my favorite movies, actually. Yeah, like Inside Llewyn Davis.
Is that one?
Yeah. He's playing a fictionalized version inspired by the folk musician Dave Van Ronk. Because of the movie is and the album cover that his little solo album is also named after Inside Dave Van Ronk. So, but yeah, I'm Not There from 2007. That's our next movie. It's shot in 16mm. It uses Super 8. It uses 8mm. It uses different. It's shot in different ways to match the different versions of Bob Dylan that you get to see. So
I'm ready to blow the whistle.
It's really interesting because it's like. I feel like the one who looks the most like Bob Dylan, though, is probably Cate Blanchett, and she plays like maybe the best version of him in that movie. But we'll see.
A woman.
Yeah,
I'll watch it.
But she's like, yeah, I'm a lot of people keep talking about me, asking me about folk music, man. I'm just trying to sing songs to the people. I'm just
okay.
Fucking love Bob. I like Bob Dylan. But this is a very interesting movie because it's a movie about Bob Dylan. But it's mostly based off of his, like, how people perceive him, and he's played by multiple actors in different styles, Each scene is like each scene with a different actor playing Bob Dylan is directed and shot in a different style. So it's like a weird movie that's like a kind of like a tapestry that comes together. So, yeah.
I will watch this quilt.
Hell yeah.
This movie quilt.
Hell yeah. Yes, it's very much like it, Like one version of Bob Dylan, the one played by Richard Gere, that's a Western.
I have to watch this.
Yeah, exactly.
Shit. I have to watch it.
Yes, sir. All right. I think that does it for Enriquez and Gudino. Thanks for listening. And like I said, you can watch I'm Not There on one day I hope to be our sponsor, Tubi. It's on Tubi for free. But also if you have a chance to buy the DVD somewhere or the Blu-ray, fucking do it because this movie looks great. It was a big deal when it came out in 2007, but we'll talk about it more next week. So until then, Jonathan, if you